Who's representing us tonight from the law department, Addie or Kevin? Or both?
I'm here for this law department.
All right. Ready? All right, we're ready to go. Okay. All set.
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Committee of Public Works to order. Today is February 8th, 2021. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll.
Chairman Correa,
Present.
Vice Chairwoman Harris,
Present.
Councilman Narducci,
Yeah.
Councilor Kerwin is absent. Councilman Taylor,
Here.
we have 4 present and 1 absent. We have a quorum.
Chief.
Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, can we have the city solicitor, Addie, give us a update on if this meeting meets all the requirements by the governor's executive order?
Sure, happy to do so. Consistent with the governor's executive orders regarding compliance with the Open Meetings Act issued in response to the current COVID-19 crisis, meetings such as this one can be held on public platforms like Zoom or WebEx. And as a result, this meeting being held on Zoom is compliant with that order and not in violation of the OMA.
Thank you, Madam Solicitor. Madam Clerk, can you let the record show that Councilwoman Kerwin is present?
So noted.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you can read item number 1 into the record, please.
Resolution requesting the Director of Public Property submitted timeline for the new Department of Public Works facility.
This matter's been before the committee for almost a couple of years now. There's been quite a bit of progress going on down at 60 Ernest Street. We put it on to get a brief update, if we could, from Ms. Almonte.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure if I was unmuted.
No, we can hear you.
Hello, all. Great to see you. Just to give you like a brief outline, the demolition was to start last Monday. Due to the snow, it was pushed back. And unfortunately, the same thing happened today. I have been in contact with our architects and the construction company they are going to have to request another permit. Permits are only good for 48 hours. So due to the possible snow at the end of the week, I am suggesting that they try to time that with the impending snow. Let's see. All change orders, there was a delay initially. As you know, when I started, we began to sort all change orders and get everything up to date. And as of right now, all change orders are up to date and applications for payment are current. We're holding progress meetings every 2 weeks with architects, DPW staff, and public property, as well as Jordan Day and Sabrina Solaris Hand. There's going to be testing done, documentation, testing, and procurement. Also removal of the DPW underground tanks. This is going to happen, scheduled to begin March 2021. This obviously will happen after the demolition of the structure of the building. And we will begin to conduct, the phase 2 environmental investigation. This should begin this month and go through the month of April. The DPW feasibility study is ongoing. And that's about it. Are there any specific questions I can clarify?
Committee members? Councilman Narducci, and you're muted.
Thank you, Chairman, if I may.
Proceed.
just, I mean, you said that you're having these briefing meetings every 2 weeks. Explain a little more about what the briefing meetings are for.
So we meet with the architect to get updates on the project. And we finally have moved into the phase of demoing the building. So going forward, we just want to ensure that we're providing, the architects are providing the necessary, the architects are including the necessary items and that the DPW staff will need. We just want to make sure that all stakeholders are aware and have a say in what's going on with the project.
Now, Chairman, if I may continue, please.
Continue.
Now, Brenda, I know, obviously you're fairly new at this particular project.
Mhm.
As the chairman stated in the beginning of the meeting, this has been going on for, I think, actually even over 2 years, Mr. Chairman. And this building's still standing. It upsets me to know that it takes this long to demolish a building. I'm having the same kind of situation in my neighborhood with a house that caught fire back on the 4th of July. And now this company's got to reapply for the permits. I don't get, I mean, I can understand if we've had blizzards, but we've had a couple inches of snow here and a couple inches of snow there. Last night, even after that storm last night, we only ended up about 4 inches on the ground. I don't see why the weather is holding up demolishing that building. I don't know if you can answer that or get us an answer to that, because I think it's important to know. And, again, I don't want to be back here in 4 months from now and we're still talking about demolishing this building.
So I definitely understand that. And when I began, I think we did a site walkthrough back in November when I started familiarizing myself with the project and when it was slated to get demolished. So like I said, last week was, the day that they were supposed to demolish it on Monday. And they said due to the snow, they have heavy equipment and they weren't going to be able to move that equipment around with the snow for safety reasons. So they scheduled it for today. And before this call, I reached out to get an update. And unfortunately, the update was that due to the storm again, they held off. I am going to actually touch base because we're expecting possibly 2 more storms, and the permits they receive for the heavy equipment are only good for 48 hours. So I really want to ensure that they time this properly and that we're able to demolish this building ASAP.
Okay.
So, Councilman, if I may add as well, is that you are correct. There's been a lot of delays with the demolition of the building.
Yeah.
But as Ms. Almonte stated, that there was a tour of the building. The demolition contractor, as he was disassembling the roof of the building, they came across a layer of asbestos caulking and stuff that was there that had to be
That's correct.
moved before the State Department of Health would give okay for the building to be knocked down. With that being said, they had to come back to the Board of Contract and Supply, which also got canceled a couple of times because of lack of a quorum. So there's been a lot of delays, both on his part and on the city's part as well. But I most recently spoke to the contractor about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks. I happened to be up on Federal Hill, and he was demolishing a building up there. And he told me that he was ready to get down in there on February 1st to begin demolition of the building. And unfortunately, we got hit with a storm that may not be a lot to us, but I guess moving this equipment around is, you know, takes some skill or whatever, I don't know. But he has assured me that the building would be down by the end of February.
If I may, sir, when we did tour the site, he did express to me that he would communicate with you as well. And that meeting was to get their plan for demolition, and also touch on the tanks that are below the slab. So there were a few change orders at that time. Everything's been sorted, and I really hope the snow holds off. And it takes them about 48 hours to get the permit. So I'm hoping for this building to begin demolished this week.
Okay. And again, Councilman, also just quickly, if I can just mention to yourself and other committee members that there was also a tie-up with Providence Water disconnecting the water service, as well as National Grid disconnecting the utilities. I had to reach out to Providence Water on their behalf, as well as Marissa Albanese in National Grid, to get both electricity and gas service disconnected at the building. With COVID, everybody was, nobody was working their crews. And then also, unfortunately, the demolition company, several of their workers came down with the virus, which also put them at a standstill. So with that, any other questions, Councilman?
Chairman, just who is the contractor that got the award?
Bill Ray?
Bill Ray Demolition.
Okay.
I
Thank
can forward updates this week once the demolition begins, and, you know, provide that information as well.
I would appreciate that. I'm Brenda, as I spoke to before, I'm old fashioned when it comes to certain things. So if you can get a hot copy of it to the clerk's office for me, so I can get it.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
If you can get a hard copy to the clerk's office for me on the updates.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brenda? Ms. Almonte?
Yes.
If you can send it to Sean Selleck, and you can CC, my name is S. Petronio at providenceri.gov.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other committee members have any other questions? With that being said, can I entertain a motion to continue item number 1?
Motion made.
Second. Motion's been made by Councilman Narducci, seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Madam Clerk, if you can read item number 2.
Resolution requesting the traffic engineer to cause Mashapog Street to be established as a one-way street from Huntington Avenue to Vineyard Street.
I believe this matter has been submitted by Councilman Taylor that represents the area. Councilman.
Yes, I talked to Nate Urso, and he said, I believe they went out and looked at it. What it is that street comes right out into Huntington Avenue, and it's very dangerous. Well, it's actually a little less dangerous now that they put the speed bumps there, but it is dangerous. It's like a blind corner. So when people come out, you're basically taking your life in your own hands. So we wanted to make it one way going in from Huntington Avenue, and they can get out on Vineyard Street.
Anybody from the Department of Public Works want to comment?
No, I think this is
If you could just identify yourself for the record, please, and your title.
Nate Urso, Providence Traffic Engineer.
Proceed.
I think what Mr. Chairman, what Councilman Taylor described is exactly the problem. There's virtually no sight distance coming out of Mashapog onto Huntington, so we just want to not allow entrance onto Huntington from Mashapog, and that's basically the reason. It is a public way through Mashapog onto Vineyard Street, which is a much safer entrance with much more site visibility. Onto
Thank you. With that being said, can I get a motion to approve item number 2?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Taylor, second by Councilman Narducci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Matter passes. Madam Clerk, if you can read item number
Mr.
3.
Mr. Chair, before you move on,
Yes,
may I co-sponsor as well? I've co-sponsored in the committee before.
You, number 2, sure. So
Sure.
noted.
Yes, please.
Madam Clerk, you got that?
Yes, noted.
All right, proceed with item number 3, please.
Resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Providence to enter into a construction, maintenance, and ownership agreement with the Rhode Island Department of Transportation for the purposes of rebuilding the Route 95 North Viaduct.
I believe we have Mr. Bombard on the phone.
Yes, we do.
Yes, good evening, Councilman.
Can you please identify yourself and your title for the record?
This is Bill Blombard. I'm the city engineer for Providence.
Bill, you're going to speak on this request that's before us?
This is a typical construction and maintenance agreement created by the Rhode Island DOT, working with the city because they need to infringe on city property during the construction of the proposed construction of the I-95 North Viaduct Bridge. This is a major project. They did the southbound a while ago. There's a lot of moving parts with this. It's involving a lot of changes in the geometry of the roadway. There's a lot of traffic impacts, environmental impacts, because it's working near the Woonasquatucket River. At this point, it's our position that we would like you to pass this along, where with the understanding that this department is working with DOT to get all outstanding issues resolved.
Committee members? Addie, have you had a chance to look at this agreement and make sure that all the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed?
Well, Mr. Chairman, looking at this agreement, it actually appears as though in the past, the solicitor himself has already signed off on it. So although I was not part of the initial drafting or review of this contract, it appears as though our office did sign off on it. I'm looking at page 5 of 8. It appears to bear Solicitor Dana's signature.
Thank you. And also, since you directed our attention to page 5 of 8, I had a conversation earlier today with the clerk's office regarding it. The very top of the page, where it's in witness whereof. So once we get into, I guess this has to be all filled in and signed. Now, there's already signatures on this page, but we have at the authorized officials on the blank day of blank 2020. How do we proceed with getting this page amended so that it has the correct year?
I wouldn't be too concerned about that necessarily, Mr. Chairman. And the reason why I say that is because with every individual signature block on that page, there's a space for a date. And as you can see, some of the signatures that have already been entered, including DOT's Chief of Legal Services, the solicitor, and what appears to be the Administrative Project Management for DOT, they have all signed off and they've dated it on the dates that they signed. So I wouldn't be too worried about that top signature block. That could just be crossed out and initialed by the last signature.
Madam Clerk?
Ed, so you meaning the, where it has the blank day of blank 2020?
I believe so. I believe that's what the Mr. Chairman was referring to.
Yeah, I mean, you're the law office. I mean, we just have to put on the record that it's going to be, because we're in 2021, so that has to be changed.
Yeah, of course. And I'm just saying that that can be done with a pen by whoever signs it last.
Okay, as long as that's legal, then that's okay with our office. I just want to make sure it's legal.
No, yeah, of course. And when broad contract law, when comes to an issue or question as to a particular date, you of course do want the date to be as accurate as possible. But I mean, contracts happen all the time with slightly mistaken dates, and there's a covenant of mutual mistake or assent to agreement where even if the date's a little funky, it's still a completely valid contract.
So,
Okay.
Madam Clerk, why don't I do this then? Because I don't like to do something that could be a little funky or something. Why don't we, I don't have a problem if my committee members don't passing the matter with the understanding that the law department will get a new page 5 here with the proper date on it. Date and year. Year.
Okay.
Committee members? Your take on it? Councilman Narducci?
Are you making that a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you-
Good, Chef.
So you want to approve it with the conditions that be signed, that be dated correctly? You want to make the motion with that altogether?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, then I'll make the motion, as long as the date is corrected, that we move forward.
Do I have a second?
Second.
To approve?
Okay, so there's been a motion to approve item number 3 with the recommendation that the city solicitor's office will get a new paper over to the clerk's office with the proper wording for the year.
Yes.
There's been a motion made by Councilman Narducci, seconded by Councilman Taylor. Any discussion, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The matter passes. Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you can read item number 4 into the record.
From Cedar Sandwich Beta Group Incorporated, 701 George Washington Highway, Lincoln, Rhode Island, 02865, requesting a permanent easement on the northeasterly side of Save the Bay Drive, Lot 364, for the installation of a utility pole.
Anybody here from the,
Yes, Paul Smith, Senior Project Manager from Beta Group, representing my client, the Bristol County Water Authority.
okay, proceed.
Thank you. Thank you all for your time. So this relates to a major water main break in the spring of 2019. Some of you may have heard. The Bristol County Water Authority receives the entirety of their water supply from the Providence Water Supply Board. They have a 30-inch pipe that ultimately meanders down Harborside Drive, over to Save the Bay Drive, and then through Provport, underneath the river, over into East Providence. That ultimately serves 50,000 customers in Bristol, Barrington, and Warren, Rhode Island. So after that break happened in 2019, what we did was we pulled, it's called slip lining. We pulled the PVC pipe through the existing steel pipe and ultimately returned the pipe to service. What we're trying to do now is maintain the long-term integrity of that host steel pipe. So what we have is that we have a 24-inch steel pipe with a PVC pipe that was pulled through it. So we're trying to maintain the long-term structural integrity of that steel pipe and make sure there's no further degradation of that steel pipe. So what we're trying to do is, after we install a utility pole, we're going to have an impressed current cathodic protection system that'll be hooked up to the steel pipe. And what that does is it maintains the structural integrity of that steel pipe for the long term. So that's the goal. All of that stuff is in except for the pole. So we need the pole so we can install a rectifier. That'll allow National Grid to run electric service over, and the rectifier just converts alternating current to direct current and allows us to finish up what we need to finish up. So we're requesting just a small easement for the purposes of installing a National Grid utility pole so we can finalize the cathodic protection.
Thank you. Committee members, I don't know if you had the opportunity as of yet to look over the packet, but there is no objections from the police, fire, or any other utility in that area. There is a fee, an assessment fee that has been put in place by the city requesting a check for $138 for the easement. Are you aware of that, Mr. Smith?
I was not aware of that. Can you repeat that dollar value again, please?
It's $138
Okay,
for that is being requested by the city.
okay,
So in order for this to go on the next city council docket and be approved, you'd have to agree to pay $138, may have a check made out to the city of Providence and in the clerk's office by 2/12, February 12th. I believe that's this Friday.
By
Yeah.
10 a.m.
Please,
By 10 a.m.
you know, let me finish to get there yet. You'd have to have it in the clerk's office by Friday on February 12th at 10 a.m. And we would put this on the next city council docket, which would be February 18th, I believe.
is that the only thing that would be holding up approval at this point, to the best of your knowledge?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, not a problem. I will, that can be hand delivered, correct, Sherry?
Yes, yes, it can.
Okay, not a problem. I will,
$138 made out to the city of Providence.
yep,
With that,
Actually, Paul, the city hall is closed on Friday, so if you can get it here by Thursday, that would be great.
not a problem. I'll do whatever we need to do to get this rolling.
Okay, we're in the city clerk's department, on the 3rd floor, room 311.
Excellent. Is there anything else you guys need from me today?
not at this time, no. Mr. Bombard, do you have any questions?
No, this is a rather simple matter, and I don't think there's any issues here.
Okay, so with that being said, can I entertain a motion to approve item number 4?
Motion
He had
made.
his hand up. Oh, no, not anymore.
Oh, what's that again, Councilman?
Eddie had her hand up.
Addie, go ahead.
Betsy,
Eddie?
you have,
Yeah, hi, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Councilman, for noticing my hand up. I appreciate it. I just wanted to clarify that for the law department drafting this easement, it would still, of course, consist of clauses requiring the continuation of care and maintenance for Beta, as well as the defense and indemnity related to any incidents as a result of the care and maintenance on that property. Just want to confirm that that's something that that this board and committee would appreciate in that easement language.
That sounds good to me. Mr. Smith, you good with that?
So, well, yeah, that seems like typical stuff. I just, in terms of the process, it's not clear to me. Is that language that I have to draft up, or does that come after the fact, after this is approved?
No, Mr. Smith. So the law department following this meeting will be drafting an easement for approval by city council once that hits city council, if and when such time city receives the check that you'll be providing to the city.
Okay, understood.
Thank you. With that being said, I believe we have a motion to approve item number 4.
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Narducci, seconded by Councilman Taylor. Any further discussion? All those in
Betsy,
favor?
you send over, you're gonna do the resolution and you'll get it over to me?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Just one more question, because do I have to come back to the next meeting on the 18th?
No.
Okay, so once the check is in, law does their thing, and we can move forward with finalizing the easement.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we had a motion and it's been seconded, and so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Matter passes. Madam Clerk, if you can read item number 5 into the record.
From Susan L. Linsky, 9 Christine Drive, Barrington, Rhode Island, 02806, requesting to abandon a portion of Knoll Street.
So this matter has been withdrawn by the petitioner. It came to the committee by mistake. I believe it's been forwarded to the Board of Park Commissioners.
Yes.
So with that, may I entertain a motion to continue item number 5 indefinitely?
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made by Deputy Leader Harris, seconded by Councilman Narducci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. With there being no further business before this committee, may I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Narducci,
Third.
seconded by Deputy Leader Harris. Councilman Espinal, I know that you wanted to speak with Mr. Parada, but unfortunately, I was told that this is not on our agenda and that you would not be able to speak to him. So I would recommend that you call on your cell phone and speak to him directly through landline.